Hi, this is Paul Banis with GreatDad.com, and I am doing another in my series of podcasts with coaches who are working with the positive intelligence modality, which I have just recently been certified in. And I'm excited to have Mazen Edlibi with me today. He's a established coach, but also is doing positive intelligence as well. He's in Dubai. I'm in San Francisco. We've got a huge gulf, but I'm sure we have a lot of things in common and a lot of things to talk about. I'm going to have to post his URL where you can find him in the show notes. You can find him because it's really long. TrueVoiceSeeker.coachesconsole.com, but we'll give a plug to that in the show notes. But welcome, Mazen.
Thank you, Paul. Really nice to be with you now.
Yeah. So I just these conversations about a lot of my conversations are about fatherhood, but I'm so into this positive intelligence because of the way it affects the family. What interested you in the positive intelligence model in the first place?
If I have, I really like the definition of being grounded in a tough situation. And it's like more into knowing myself and knowing my reaction in any kind of situation I'm facing, even the good or the bad. That doesn't matter. The most important thing that I really like about positive intelligence is to be aware and be grounded, regardless who is taking over. But the awareness is the key word that I took from the positive intelligence.
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing for a lot of people is just that awareness, because a lot of people kind of stumble through and they hear they get the stimuli, but they don't realize that it's even happening, and it's just this noise in their brain. So and then what has been your experience in it, or how quickly did it take for you to kind of make that shift?
You know, it's funny, it's happened after being laid off from the work. And then the lockdown happened during the pandemic. Immediately, the announcement for cohort 2, actually. I'm from cohort 2.
Oh, wow.
So immediately I signed up. Immediately I got the approval. And it was like, for me, as if I'm receiving a message from the universe. And honestly, after the 6 weeks of program, my kids moved to live with me. This is another message. So as if I was prepared to receive my kids.
Oh.
And being my son diagnosed with Asperger, this is the first time I'm having that close connection with him. For the 5 or 6 years, he was living with his mother, and I was the weekend father. This is what I used to call myself, the weekend father. So back to your question, it was till now, I'm doing the exercise, the reflection, the reading, and everything. Even looking at the community through the app, watching the conversation happening, I'm still practicing. And I'm still, honestly, still discovering a couple of things and seeing things from different perspective. I didn't see it or didn't notice it at the beginning. But when you keep doing, when you keep listening to people or those who are joining after us, your scope has become broader. And you will get more and more saturated, let's say, if I can call it or use this word, with a lot of experience, a lot of way to even to know new things. As you can call it creativity, you can call it new ways. It's a new thing every now and then, and you can see from the version they are coming up from the BQ team. You can see that every now and then there's something new is coming.
They're learning as they go along. Well, it's interesting to me that how people get into who is attracted to it. Obviously, we're coaches, so we heard about it very early on because they're trying to establish it with coaches. We both got a chance to experience it as consumers first and then got coach training. But it's interesting that like for you, the universe handed you this opportunity and it seemed to like sync up with your life experience. Other people have been dealing with this, all these voices in their brains, or they're leading very anxious lives where they get all these negative messages. For your clients, where have they, in general, have they come to you because it's an integration with your other coaching, or because they came to you with a specific, I need help with this, Mazen. I need something that's really going to work?
Honestly, basically they're coming only just they need help related to the relationship.
Relationships, yeah. Relationships,
yeah.
Very important. Yeah.
And knowing that PQ can help, because knowing the awareness around the saboteurs and the sage power will really help anything with any relation, any context. And that's the belief for me. That's my belief.
Yeah.
Knowing those conversations that happen in the inner, as they call the inner critics, if I'm aware of those conversations, that will help in any context, whether in a personal life or a professional life.
Yeah.
And that's why I introduced it to them.
Yes, just stepping back for those who don't know a lot about positive intelligence, what positive intelligence does is it helps us all recognize when we are being triggered by one of those saboteurs, or what we call the judge, and then helps us learn a process to switch to a more positive response to what those voices are telling us. So we feel, in general, happier during the day, less disappointment, less regret, less frustration, less anxiety, all those things. What I love about what you're just saying is the saboteur part, which is a key element. I don't know if there's any element within positive intelligence that isn't kind of key, because it's a very simple system with just a few elements. But this saboteur part goes beyond what we both learned in coaching. We learned at CTI, Coactive Training Institute, about saboteurs, and everybody has these saboteurs that live within them that they're kind of like get in the way of making better choices. But positive intelligence gives a name to 9 of those. So there's a lot more to pick from, and they're a lot more specific, there's a lot more dimension and texture to it.
Exactly. I really like the point when you said the simplicity in the DPQ, make it more simple. That, okay, we have 2 forces, the good and the good and not the good. And talking about the saboteurs, even the lies that what kind of lies the saboteurs are telling us, that's really another insight for me as Mazen, that, okay, I'm aware of the language that it's used by the saboteurs, so that I can intercept them, or be aware where it's happening, how even physically impacting me. And that's another clue or cue for me. That's one of the blessings that PQ program given us.
Yeah, what I love about it too is the fact that it gives us this framework as coaches, and you do have a framework that you learn, and you learn a lot of the tools within it. But I think a lot of us were still hungering for more specificity and more, details, and really something we could take people through. And what positive intelligence does in the 6 or 7 weeks, if you count the 7th meeting, is gives you that framework that then, as a coach, allows you to have a common language and a structure, more of a structure to the coaching conversations, even if it's not PQ related. Has that been your experience, where now you're talking to people who've been through PQ, and you get to the solutions, you get to the problems and the solutions faster?
See, what I do usually, I let people do the assessment, and I invite them to read it, to really read it, take time in reading the report, and to see where it is resonating with them, and then holding a session with them about the report. Going for 5 minutes about explaining what is PQ, and where they find even challenge, whether they are accepting what they are reading, or they don't accept, they don't relate to it. And sometimes, and this is funny, when I check with them where it is not related to them, it is when it is appears to be that it is more related to them.
Yeah. Where they have that sticky point, like, no, I'm not. That's not me. Yeah.
Exactly.
Find maybe it is.
Exactly. So that when you bring your own story to that incident, or let's say that context, then it does resonate with them. That's why I'm saying, when you back to your question, what it took me literally for 2 years between practicing, noticing, reflecting, and seeing that, because as Vicky did say, that the person is your teacher. And in my case, my kids were my teacher.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah, because we're all within positive intelligence. We're trying to learn a new habit of shifting this perspective, and I love that that metaphor too. Is that each person who triggers you, each situation that gets in your face, a bad driver or somebody who's mean to you at a coffee shop, anything, they are actually teaching you. They're giving you a moment to say, how am I going to react to this? If somebody, you don't have to react negatively. You don't have to carry that burden around with you all day of regretting whatever it was that you did. You can learn these techniques, and it is a practice that you get better at over time.
Yeah. Honestly, it's more. I won't say I don't like using the rewiring. I like the word shifting. Is because my brain was well functioning or operating for so many years in a certain way. And I didn't know that there is another way. That's what I was saying in the beginning. I was totally in my mind. I didn't even know touching. I didn't even know that if I want to drink the coffee, I can drink it differently. So previously, the experience was eliminated. With the BQ, the experience exists now. Like if I'm touching, my hand can feel the glass. My nose can sense the smell. My tongue can sense the heart of the coffee. Previously, I was drinking coffee without having any sense involved. But now everything it became part of me.
So going back just a second, I'm interested in what you were saying about the testing, the assessment, because there is an assessment at PersonalGrowth.com/assessment. I think that there's one that's an assessment of your overall kind of state of happiness, and the other one is about the saboteurs. I assume you're talking about the one about the saboteurs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So do you do that as part of a discovery session, like before when people are just interested in getting to know you and positive intelligence, or do you mean you do a deeper dive on the saboteurs during the 7-week program?
I do it in both cases, actually, because I believe that's why I said it became a faith in me that the BQ or the assessment of saboteurs is really, really helpful. So I guided, or let's say, tell people about it for everyone. So who's coming to me for a session or coaching, or even when I'm invited to have an awareness session about coaching, I talk about BQ. So I send people to do the assessment and share their thoughts with me, and I offer a discovery session for them.
Oh, that's really valuable if you do it up front. I integrate it after the 3rd week when they're introduced to their saboteurs as part of the program, as an added on coaching session within, that's part of the program. But I really like the idea that you get them intrigued about it because the assessment is free and everybody can take it, whether they're going to do positive intelligence or not, or use it for something else.
Yeah, just recently, last week, I did one for around 9 people. And the amount of realization after the assessment was huge for them. Yeah. And as I said at the beginning, when they read the report as you describe it. It's not me, it's not me. Some of them, yes, but not the rest. Okay, but when they do the reflection again, they come, it became like an aha moment for them at the end.
Mm-hmm. What's cool too is there is so much to celebrate about each one of the saboteurs, and unlike some of the other coaching programs that talk about the saboteurs, which are kind of like they're always like they're completely negative, but a lot of these saboteurs exist to warn us of dangers in our life and in our environment, and they all have positive things. And I like to celebrate the saboteurs just because if they don't go, too far, they can be very helpful, and they're really good qualities. The saboteurs are behind a lot of our personal successes and the good parts of our relationships and everything else. But if they go into hyperdrive, it can be destructive.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent. The only sentence I said to them: forget about the saboteurs. Don't be worried about the saboteurs. The only thing keep in your mind, is it adding value or is it abusing? So don't worry, because some of them, they were talking about the number, the results that these are my score. Okay, am I doing well? I'm not doing well. I said, forget about numbers.
Yeah.
The point here, saboteurs are here, voices are here, will not be eliminated or vanished. The most important, do you feel they're abusing, or do you feel they are giving you a chance? Okay, they are success stories, yes. But is it a long life success or a short-term success, or short term, or you can call it short term, for a short period of time that you feel the success? Because is it draining? Is it fulfilling? This is another thing. That's when I have a conversation with them about, and they're asking about the saboteurs, but they are serving us. Yeah. For how long? Is it serving you, or serving you alone, or serving all of you with your relationship with others?
Right. So you work mostly with women, empowering women leaders, helping women leaders find their life purpose, figuring out transformation where it's interesting. It sounds like you also have you've worked with a lot of different modalities. You're CTI trained. You've got positive intelligence. Are there other coaching philosophies and modalities that you're mixing in as well?
I was an NLP practitioner.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
even MBTI desk. So the coaching journey became because it's for a personal use, because I was shocked when at the age of 41, I was asked about my own values, and I didn't know how to answer or identify them. And the second question was about life purpose. And I said, what? 41? And literally I was like gazing without knowing, okay, what's my life purpose? And then when someone said, to have a car, to have a house, then I discovered those are needs, they're not life purpose. Okay, 41, discover I have no value. And that's the beginning of everything.
Yeah. Well, you sound like an amazing coach with all that other training to layer on and picking the best of each one of these different philosophies. It sounds like you and I are both very much in sync in terms of the attractiveness to science-based reasoning. I don't know if maybe you also have a spiritual component too, which is fine too. But I struggle with the word coach because it sounds kind of flaky, but I do really resonate with all the things we learned in positive intelligence, and a lot of the parts from CTI too that are really about how the brain functions, how we live in our brain, but are affected by what happens in our body, by all the stuff that has come out of science in the last, literally just the last 30 years in terms of brain plasticity and positive psychology and the rest. Is that your orientation, or am I?
Yeah. Exactly. You nailed it. Honestly, that's why I said it's the simplicity in BQ. To give the credit for Shirzad, he combined so many science and give it to you in simple language. He avoided those jargon words, which for me, it put me off if I see
I'm
it.
so with you there. You know, all that stuff.
Exactly.
I live in California, but I don't like it.
That's why I was, okay, saboteurs, sage, enough.
Yeah.
Bad people and wisdom, and you are the wisdom. At least there's a belief and faith about the human himself, that you are the sage. And I really like when Shizad was saying, and don't forget that you are the sage. The sage is not outside you, it's you, the sage. The only thing is how to raise the awareness within you so that the sage will speak.
Yeah, Shahzad Charmaine is he's the founder of this and a former head of CTIR Coactive Training Institute. So he's been in this area for a long time. He's very wise, but I love that whole aspect of the whole person. Again, and every one of these conversations about positive intelligence, I reiterate the fact that this is it's not something new. It's not a new religion. It's not a new movement or anything. It combines just a lot of elements from things that people have been saying for years, out of the Bible, out of the Quran, out of meditation, out of the Asian religions. There's just so much of this that's just part of who we are as human beings and what philosophers from all cultures have kind of figured out on how to live a better life over time. It's just packaged in using an app and using group coaching, using one-on-one coaching that makes it all a lot more immediate, effective, meaningful, in a short amount of time.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know why I'm saying that, but I have to say, the insight I got throughout my journey in coaching, it's really been grounded when I sign up for this program.
Yeah, wow, that's something.
Yeah, and that's because of one thing, which is really resonate with me because of my background and training, especially when they talk about the insight and the practice. So the consistent practice, if it's not happened, the insight will not last with you.
Yeah, I love that too.
And that's why when you refer about the application and the practice with the bot and the colleague, the community and everything, that's why it is grounded.
Yeah.
And what you are doing here, even GreatDad.com, about integrating or bringing the BQ in your practice, that's another adding value.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's important to me too, is that this idea of practice. A lot of people meditate, but meditation, if you're not religious about it, or if you do it in the morning, you might not feel it the rest of the day. A lot of people have read hundreds of self-help books, filled with wisdom and great ideas and everything. But there's a reason why people think they're flaky, because you read them and then you put them on the shelf and you've forgotten within a day or two. You go to a seminar, it's great ideas, and if you pull away a few notes and everything, but it fades. But this is really developing a practice for life, 12 minutes a day. It's not a tremendous amount of time, and you fit it in throughout the day using the app. And it makes, I just, in my experience, both personally, my wife, one of my kids has done it, but my clients, it's just amazing the responses they have. Is that your experience with your clients? Is that they come away saying, "Oh my God, fundamental thing"?
My clients, they were talking about being, especially with the bot, creating that connection.
The pod, which is the group coaching with 4 to 5 participants.
Yeah, that really intensified and grounded their experience with the BQ. Because hearing other stories, their interaction, their encountering the new thing, their saboteurs, gives a lot of insight.
Yeah. And what is different, if you've ever done group therapy in a psychological, psychiatric situation, it's a lot different than that, because you're all tracking along with principles at the same time, and people are more just general, willing to open up around a specific idea that they're talking about, rather than let's just talk about Mazen today, and you can tell all about your problems, we'll all listen, which is I mean, nothing to take away from talk therapy, but I think this is a lot more effective for moving people forward, rather than what we call in coaching, process coaching, which is to take them deep into their experiences to bring out about insights. So at this point, I always like to see if you have a PQ exercise you could demo for us, either a minute or 2 minutes. Are you willing to try that? I mean, just because I like to provide them on the website to give people another example of how things are done and bring voice to the exercise.
For me, I really like the touching the fingertips, which is really, for me, it was really profound and strong.
All right, let's do that one. So invite you all to take a moment, take a couple of deep breaths. You lead it, but we'll do like a 1-2 minute exercise, as long as you want.
So please take normal 3 breathing. Just feel where you are seated. Feel your leg on the ground. And on the 3rd breath, just go to your normal breathing. Then try to touch your 2 fingertips gently and feel the sensation of your fingertip. While having those sensation and feeling them, you can combine with it and notice the air entering your nose while you're breathing. As well as the air exhaling. You can also feel the sensation by rubbing the 2 hands together. Slowly, so that you can feel the sensation in both hands while you're rubbing. And watch your breathing. Breathe slowly. Feel your chest while you're breathing. No matter your brain is telling you or saying whatever it's saying to you, just pay attention to any sensation is attracting your attention. Is it your breathing? Is it dropping the 2 fingers? Is it sitting on the chair or your feet? Pay attention to any sensation that feel you at ease. back again to your fingertip. And when you are watching or paying attention to your breathing, feel back to your body, to where you are seated. And when you feel you are ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you. Thank you for that. It's always very energizing and always great to know that you can learn how to control your own mind. And that was a lot different than some of the ones I've heard, but very special in its own way. They're all great. Anything that takes you out of your conscious mind, your intellectualization, and just takes you into this control. Awareness of your sensations is valuable.
It's a combination of so many things together. Some of the coaches they use one technique and they prolong it. I go with the flow. I love it to go organic. what create, like in the CTR they call create from the nothing, create from the moment.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's one of the key tenets of CTI training, right? Dance in the moment.
Dance in the moment. Exactly.
Well, this has really been a lot of fun catching up with you. We've seen each other on online, but great chance to have some time with you to talk about positive intelligence and how it's affected you and your clients.
It was really, really pleasure talking to you and having being with you here in the podcast, and I really appreciate the invitation. Any help or any support for people to know about the positive intelligence, it will really, as Shazad was saying, to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
Indeed, that will create the buzz or create the ripple effect.
Yeah, yeah. So again, Mazen Edlibi, I knew I'd have trouble with that the second time I tried it. But from Dubai, he coaches specifically women, empowering women, helping them make better finding their life purpose and finding ways to find that special transformation. Thank you again for spending time with me. And
thank you for having me. Thank you.
From GreatDad.com. You can find more about my PQ practice at GreatDad.com/PQ. I do a weekly webinar on Thursdays at 11 o'clock Pacific time to tell people about how the program works, to see if people are interested. So again, thanks a lot, Mazen. Have a great rest of the
Thank you. You too. Take care.
Evening for you. Okay.
Yeah, thank you a lot. Take care.
Bye-bye.